welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you how I created these really cute set of rose quartz nails, complete with some encapsulated glitter and a little bit of French tip work. So these were actually quite easy to do and I did them using the new Naio Nails Acrygel. So if you guys would be interested to see how I completed this look, then just keep on watching. So moving right on with today's tutorial guys, and I have already gone ahead and prepared my tips, and I'm now going in with a layer of Naio Nails base coat to all of the nails. And this base coat not only helps with adhesion of the polygel, it allows me to have a nice even layer between my natural nail and the nail tips, so when I am going in with the polygel I don't need to worry too much about it being overly bulky at the stress area. So yeah, I apply this to all of the nails and then I pop this one into my LED light for 60 seconds because the Naio Nails base coat does require a little bit longer to dry than other base coats I've used. So as I mentioned previously guys, I am going to be using a couple of these new Acrygels by Naio Nails. This is their new urban graffiti range and I'm going to be using Tempting Fate, which is a really beautiful cover pink with a little bit of shimmer to it, and I'm also going to be using It's Clear Dear, which is their clear one. So moving on with getting these nails done, I am first using Tempting Fate and I'm going to be using this on the pinky, the middle finger and the thumb. But first for the pinky, I'm going to be using it as a full cover nail. So I start by rolling that polygel onto the nail, wetting in my brush with some isopropyl alcohol and then just manoeuvring that gel down the pinky, being sure that I have curved it around the cuticle area and wiped off any excess before I pop that into my LED light for 60 seconds. So this polygel is actually really easy to work with. Like I mentioned, they don't have a specific slip solution or even their own brush. So this is just the Madam Glam polygel brush. But I would like to see a whole range from Naio Nails. I actually really like their products. Their acrylic was some of the first that I ever tried. And when I first used this polygel, it was an absolute cracking product to work with. It was so easy to maneuver it down the nail. It gave you a beautiful finish to the nail. And like I say, it was really with minimal fuss. So as you could see, I allowed the polygel to slightly form an apex, and then as I came down to the tip of the nail, I left it getting nice and thin because I am going to be putting some glitter on there and encapsulating it later on. So before I popped that into the light, I just went ahead and moved on with my middle finger. So for this nail, I'm going to be doing a sort of French tip. So I start by rolling the polygel onto the stress area and then working it upwards. So it's basically like I'm doing a reverse smile line, but instead of with acrylic, I'm using the polygel for this, which I think is super easy to do because it allows you to play around with that polygel before popping it into the light so you get a nice even shape. So all you have to do is slightly refine it with a file later on. So I did go ahead and do a second layer of that, and then I cured them completely for a full 60 seconds before moving on to the next fingers, just so I didn't bump anything and they went all over the place. So now moving on to the ring finger and also the pointer, I'm going to be using two of these UrSugar polygels, one in this really cute pink colour and the other one in a muted white. And I'm also going to be using Tempting Fate to do a marbled nail. So I start by adding each colour to the nail and then slightly mix them tiny little amount, because you do not want them all to mix together because then it will just not look like a marble effect. But this wasn't really a marbled nail per se. I wanted it more of a rose quartz look. So when I was looking up at pictures of rose quartz, I saw ones that had various colours of pink and white. So I thought these three colours really complemented the picture that I saw. And if I remember, I will add a picture just so you could see what I was looking at. But yeah, I popped these onto the nail and then gently formed them, being sure that I didn't press in too much so they mix together. Then to make the middle finger a little bit different than the rest, because I wanted the glitter on this one to be more prominent, I added a brick red shade of gel polish and then cured that completely. And now I'm going in with this really beautiful Smiley's glitter in Champagne Blush, which is a mixed grade of gold and also has little pieces of a pink mylar in it. So it was absolutely beautiful. So that's what I'm going to be using for the bulk of the nails. But I'm also going to be going in with some of this Glitter Planet gold shards, because the gold mix didn't have big enough gold shards in it, so I had to substitute with this as well. So I am going to be using some of this for the pinky. So to just adhere the bottom layer of that glitter to the nail, I am applying some of the Gelish Top It Off over that gel polish, and then to the wet gel polish I'm going in with some gold foil and also that glitter mix that I showed you at the beginning. So as you can see, I'm basically just using my little glitter brush and really pushing that glitter into that wet gel and making sure the little pieces of that pink mylar are really attached to the nail, so when I go in to encapsulate, it doesn't lift. And then I fully cured that nail for 60 seconds just to make sure that glitter was completely attached to the nail and I had penetrated all of those layers. And now going in with the pinky, I start by adding again the top coat to the tip of the nail. And now I'm using that gold foil from Glitter Planet. I'm adding little shards of that all on the nail, and then I go in with some of the gold shards from the glitter mix that I used previously, and also using tiny little amounts of the actual glitter from that mix just to fill up little parts of that nail that I felt were still a little bit barren. And then again I popped that nail into the light for a full 60 seconds just to make sure those nails were completely dry before I encapsulated any of that glitter. So now moving on to the thumb, as you can see I've done a slight gradient using Tempting Fate at the top of the nail, and now I'm going in with its clear deer at the bottom. I really wish I had have left the pink bits slightly up on the nail, but I am going to be covering it with glitter, so it didn't matter that some of the pink had gone down more into where I wanted it to be just clear. And then again I am going in with that glitter mix from Smiley's glitter store right onto that wet polygel. Now the trick to using polygel as an adhesive for your glitter, if you're using mylar, is you really just want to make sure you're pressing the larger pieces of mylar down into that wet glitter, not enough that you are disturbing any of your polygel at the bottom, but just enough that it's got a little bit of an encasing around that mylar, so when it comes to drying it off, that it's completely stuck. But you may find that you still have to go in with a tiny little bit of top coat on some of the top areas that didn't quite get pushed in enough. But I really find encapsulating glitter with polygel to be an absolute breeze, and you really do get a fabulous finish if you work with it a little, just to make sure you're removing the bubbles. So that's why sometimes I like to do polygel as my base but encapsulate with a clear gel. So now that we have the base for all of our nails, I'm now going in to start working on the nail art. So starting with the ring finger, turning this from a marble polygel nail into a rose quartz nail, I just added some top coat to that whole nail, and now going in with a tiny detail brush onto that wet gel. I am dipping some alcohol into that as well, and I'm just dispersing some of that gel so it creates a nice smoky illusion like you see in usual marbles, or if you were looking at the rose quartz crystal, it had these really cute smokiness going through it, so that was just sort of the effect I was going with here. So I'm just dipping it into alcohol, drying off my brush, and then removing the alcohol, so basically like sucking it up with the brush. So you really want to make sure you have a little piece of paper beside you just to make sure you keep drying the brush off so you get that illusion. And then I switch over to a larger brush, and that not only helps me soak up the remainder of that isopropyl alcohol, but it allows me to push the gel into certain areas. So some parts are a lot more smokier than others, and some bits have really prominent lines. And it also helps me clean around my cuticles before I could pop that into my LED light. And then after that, I'm going in with some of this 24 karat gold foil, and I'm just attaching this to the sticky layer of that gel. And then I top coat that nail, and that is this nail complete. And now I'm going in with CND Bristle Gel in clear, and I'm going to go ahead and encapsulate the glitter on the middle finger, also the pinky and the thumb, and then I do cure them for a full 30 seconds, and I do go in with 2 coats just to make sure the nail is nice and even and flush, and also when it comes to filing time that I have a little bit of room to make sure the nails are all filed in shape without removing any of that glitter. And then once everything was dry, I went ahead and filed and buffed my nails, made sure everything was nice and in shape, and now that the nail design is almost complete, I'm now going in with some bling. So the bling I'm using today are these pink opal crystals by Smiley's Glitter Store. I'm also using some white opal Swarovski crystals, sorry, and I'm also using some of these Glamsusie acrylic flowers also. So I first go in with a layer of Top It Off by Gelish to adhere my crystals to, and then I first go in with that Glamsusie flower to the middle of the nail, and then I surround that first with these absolutely adorable pink opal crystals from Smiley's Glitter Store, and then I use my white opal Swarovski crystals just to at the top, and then to bring the whole look together. So I had no rhyme or reason for this, I kind of just went with it, but it sometimes is really handy if you find maybe a bit of jewellery or something like that to copy your bling designs from, but I just sort of like winged it. I followed an S shape, and then I wanted that to be prominent for like a centre for the flower, so that's basically just what I went with. But yeah, once I was happy with the positioning of my crystals, I went ahead, popped that into my LED light as always for 60 seconds just to make sure the light penetrated all of those layers. And then off camera, since this video was hella long for some odd reason, I did go ahead and add some of those white opal and pink opal crystals to the top of the ring finger also. And now I am going to just go ahead and wipe away that sticky layer and remove any dust and debris from my nails. And then I'm going to go ahead and give those a really nice glossy finish. So the top coat that I am using today is again the top coat by Gelish. It's Top It Off, and I absolutely love it. So as you can see, I'm just going around the nail, being sure to avoid those crystals so they do not dull their sparkle. And then I am going to just top coat the rest of those nails and pop that into my LED light for a full 60 seconds. And then, as always, guys, my last and final steps are to go ahead and wash my hands with warm water and soap. I then sanitize my nails with a nail sanitizer, apply my hand cream, and I'm now going in with some peppermint cuticle oil because Santa's almost here. I am so excited. But yeah, this is this design complete for today, guys. And finally, guys, this is what my design looks like once everything was complete. And I must admit, I absolutely adore that rose quartz nails. And those polygels worked like an absolute dream to create the base that I absolutely wanted. And I really hope you guys enjoyed my take on these elegant rose quartz nails. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. I would totally appreciate it. And if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Kylie. I am a complete nail polish addict. And on this channel, you will find everything from nail art to swatches, reviews, and the occasional haul. So if that's something that piques your interest, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click that notifications bell. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!